The Carolina Panthers 2024 season has come to an end. Didn't quite go the way we wanted it to go, but there were some positives to take away, and we're going to focus on those positives in this video as we hand out some 2024 team awards.
Yeah, it was a strange season because it didn't go the way we thought it was going to go before the season started, right? And then it didn't really go the way we thought it was going to go after the first 2 weeks either. So it kept us on our toes a bit. It was the most entertaining Panther season in a while. I think, we can go ahead and start off with the MVP award, MVP of the team. Hard to do an MVP of a 5-win team, right? Because you didn't win with the 5 games. But my vote is going towards Bryce Young, who I think saved a lot of jobs, including his own, for next year. I think that he solidified himself as the starting quarterback, the franchise quarterback. I think he probably got Dave Canales onto more solid ground than he otherwise would have been coming out of a 5-win season. And, I think he probably helped to keep the offensive staff intact with his late season resurgence.
No, I agree with you. Just the way he salvaged the season. Now, yes, you only won 5 games, but it was looking like this offseason was going to be a complete rebuild again, right? And when I say salvage the season, you were able to go out there and compete every week. You could have easily won 4 more games. We could be talking about them in the playoffs right now, right? And because he came out there and was able to look like the Bryce Young we were expecting, we were hoping, it gives optimism for the future. We got to see a bunch of players shine. We got to see what exactly they can do out there, where you need improvement. There's a lot of things that opened up for this team, and I agree. Him playing well helped keep the current coaching staff in place. So him just playing better, yeah, you could, if we had a comeback player of the year award, that wasn't on our list. If we had that, he would easily be the candidate for that. But MVP, I think, is well deserved. He made a lot of things happen, not just for the organization, but for the fans to stay engaged throughout the season.
Yeah. And, another thing that Bryce kind of did for the fans, I guess you could say, he kind of put to bed the discussions about the trade, the trade up for him, where they gave up DJ Moore, they gave up multiple first-round picks, they gave up second-round, all that stuff. And, Caleb Williams is in Chicago. He's doing his thing. He played fine as a rookie. I'm sure he's going to turn into a great player. But now that Bryce has proven his worth on the field to an extent, Panthers fans don't really need to look at Chicago and see how their former assets are doing, right? If you're still kind of engaged in that and well, who's better? Oh, did we give up more? Too much? Did we get, whatever. I think you need to maybe turn off the social media a bit, turn off your phone, take a step back, and focus on your mental wealth a little bit. We talk about mental wealth. It's a 5-pillar thing. It's sleep, diet, exercise, stress management, which is staying off of Twitter, and exogenous compounds, which is anything that's coming from without that you're putting into your body, and it's essentially just taking care of yourself, right? Which is kind of what we like to talk about here. I know, Jose, you have stories about kind of hitting your limit and what kind of helps you get through. And that's, again, what we're talking about is making sure you're in top shape all the time.
Absolutely. Like you said, YouTube is a grind, right? And putting these videos together, recording, editing, uploading, thumbnails, the whole thing is a grind on top of our regular jobs, taking care of family and things like that. So it can be hard to lose focus. It can be hard to get things organized and done efficiently. But using Magic Mind, I can vouch for it. It works. Okay, it helps you focus on the task at hand, and when you're able to focus and block other things out, you're a lot more efficient. And I'm telling you from firsthand experience, this stuff works. It's not a miracle drink. Okay, we're not selling you that, but this is very effective, and we have a special for you to check out.
Yeah, you can see it down on the bottom of the screen. If you go to magicmind.com/LBHTJAN, that's JAN for January, you get 45% off of the bundle pack. That's going to be the focus shots that you take during the day, as well as the sleep shots that help you get more rest. Because, I mean, if you're not getting your proper rest, it doesn't really matter what you're doing during the day. But like you said, it helps you focus. It lowers your stress. You get no crash like you get with some other drinks, or you get with sugar and caffeine. You get better focus. You're faster to fall asleep, and you get deeper sleep with the sleep shots. Also, everything is organically grown in California. Everything is scientifically tested, over 200 studies done on all the ingredients. And, if that's not enough, they give you a 100% money back guarantee if you're not happy with the product, which we are 100% sure you will be. So you want to, again, down at the bottom of the screen there, head to www.magicmind.com/LBHTJAN to get your 45% off of the bundle for the month of January.
All right, make sure you go check that out. All right, B, what is the next award?
Next up, we're going to be talking about a little bit of Offensive Player of the Year in Carolina. Now, this one I think is pretty easy. Maybe you can go Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen was the kind of security blanket for Bryce, and has just been playing great since he got into Carolina, playing much better than anybody really expected. But this, definitely should be going to Chuba Hubbard at running back, who was kind of the foundation of the offense, who went over 1,000 yards for the first time, got himself a $8 million a year contract extension during the season. Jonathan Brooks, who was the second-round pick out of Texas, came in, unfortunately, and tore his ACL again, so he didn't even have the help that he was kind of expecting there, and really carried the load. Since Miles Sanders, well, he played a bit better than last season, hasn't really been the guy that Carolina's expected either. So it's really all fallen on Chuba, and he's run hard, he's run really effectively, and he had a great season.
No, absolutely. It really came down to him and Bryce for my MVP pick. And if we're being honest, he's been the most consistent player on this team, right? We did not expect this type of season from Chuba Hubbard, right? We slept on him a little bit, but no, he's stepped up to the plate. He showed that he's more than worthy of the contract. I don't really like to talk about what people's value is and whatnot, but he's played well, and he played consistent throughout the year. Now, I know he got hurt at the end of the year. I don't think it was anything that's going to affect him going into next season, correct?
No, he should be fine. I don't think it was anything major. Probably just broke his back from carrying the offense.
All right, what's next?
Next up, we've got the Defensive Player of the Year, which, if I'm reading my notes here correctly, say absolutely nobody. You were the worst defense in the history of football. Wow. But that can't be correct. No, I went ahead and gave this to J.C. Horn, almost by default. Derek Brown was out. Shaq Thompson was out. They missed a lot of guys, and then they had some players come over in free agency and everything who didn't really pan out. Like I said, it was one of they gave up more points than anybody has ever given up in football. JC made the Pro Bowl. I don't really think he deserved to make the Pro Bowl, but he's there. So, he had himself a decent season. I wouldn't say it was a great season, but he had a couple sacks. He had 13 passes defensed. In Carolina, nobody really stood out on that side of the ball. So I'm going to go ahead and award Defensive Player of the Year to J.C. Horn with a gigantic asterisk.
Wow. I picked Josey Jewell.
Wow.
Josey Jewell did a little bit of everything, right? Was he a great player? No, nobody played great on defense, like you said. But, you're talking about tackles for loss, 7 tackles for loss, 4 QB hits. He had 3.5 sacks. He had an interception, a couple of forced fumbles, and he did it in key moments for me, right? He was one of the more reliable guys on the defense. And we talk about playing consistently. I think he was one of the more consistent players on the defense, right? Again, not outstanding, but reliable and solid, right? So that was enough for me to give him the award.
No, I mean, I can see that. And the problem for Josie, I mean, he did miss 5 games. He didn't play the full season, but when he's out there, like I said, he was pretty consistent and he was doing his thing. But really, none of you. All right. Hey, and you know what? That's something you can improve on next year. Moving on. We're going Rookie of the Year. We're not doing offensive and defensive. This is just an overall Rookie of the Year. So, I mean, Carolina had a few guys to pick from, right? They had rookies in several prominent roles. You know, they had Xavier Legette, first-round pick, playing wide receiver. Jonathan Brooks, unfortunately, like I said, didn't get to play a whole lot this season. But Trevin Wallace was playing that linebacker spot for us. Jatavian Sanders. But overall, I think the winner for this award for me is Jalen Coker, the undrafted free agent out of Holy Cross. Shout out to the Cokeheads. I know his mother does not like that, but until somebody gives him a better nickname, that's just going to be what they're rolling with. Now, didn't put up like eye-popping numbers, right? He had 400 and let me pull it up here. I believe 478 yards, 2 touchdowns, off of 32 receptions in 11 games, right? So, just solid numbers, right? Yeah. A good rotational receiver, but you got to remember, Bryce Young was awful the first couple of weeks, and then it was 5 weeks of Andy Dalton before they got a competent quarterback on the field by the name of Bryce Young, which was weird. But it wasn't a team that was really threatening through the air all season long, right? But in those 11 games, he did outperform their number 1 receiver, or their first-round pick in Xavier Legette. He outperformed last year's second-round receiver, Jonathan Mingo, who was traded away, I think in part because of the way Jalen Coker looked throughout the offseason and when he got on the field. And, he showed... if you watch him play, he doesn't look like like he's just kind of a flash in the pan kind of thing. Like, oh, well, here's a team that didn't have much talent, so I was just able to get on the field and I just produced by default. He looked like he belonged there. Yes. And he was making plays, and very excited to see how he develops over the next couple of years and where he fits in that wide receiving core. But at least for his Rookie of the Year, congratulations, Jalen Coker, offensive rookie, Rookie of the Year for the 2024 Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I don't need to add anything to that. That's why I had Jalen Coker. Again, no eye-popping numbers, but when you watch him play, his impact on the game, I think he's deserving of that.
And lastly, we're giving out an award. I don't think this is the official name as of yet, but we're just calling it the Can't Wait Until Next Year award.
Can't wait!
It's basically just a guy who we think has bigger and better things ahead. Maybe they had a mini breakout. Maybe they didn't. Maybe this year didn't go as planned. But whatever it is somebody we're saying, hey, look out for this player next year. For me, this is kind of an obvious one, but I'm going with Bryce Young. I didn't want to go anywhere else because I think Bryce deserved it. I think we need to make a bigger deal about how he bounced back from what was a terrible rookie season. And I think everybody agrees that was not his fault, but he was in a terrible situation. They couldn't block for him. They didn't have anybody to throw to. He was going through head coaches every other week, essentially. And then this season, when they did put in that work and fix the O-line, he came in and looked worse. And he kind of looked like he didn't belong on an NFL field.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was a confidence thing, a mental thing, and him sitting on that bench for 5 weeks, he somehow got himself together. He got himself back to himself, back to the player he was at Alabama. And once he got back on the field and he started playing with confidence, he didn't look back. And so I'm very, very excited to see what he does over the 17-game season. I'm fully expecting a new number one in Carolina, T. Higgins, or Garrett Wilson, or McMillan, whoever it is. And, I think that the O-line, I think they're going to work to strengthen the O-line. I think he's going to be in a great position moving forward. And I think he's ready to kind of take the league by storm in 2025.
Now, I agree with you. Bryce Young is the pick. However, just to change things up, I went with Ja'Tavion Sanders. Okay. Ja'Tavion Sanders looks like the tight end that was promised to you guys.
The tight end that was promised with Ian Thomas and Tommy Tremble.
Yeah. You guys have been thirsty for a tight end for a long time, and I think Ja'Tavion Sanders is going to be the tight end that delivers for you.
Yeah, I'm expecting big things out of Ja'Tavion as well. Loved the pick in the fourth round, getting him out of Texas, and I thought he played well in spots. Tight end usually takes a little while to transition, unless you're Brock Bowers, apparently. But I do agree. I think there's a lot of positive things ahead for Ja'Tavion, so I like that pick too.
All right. So those are our awards for the 2024 Carolina Panthers. Didn't have the record that you guys wanted, but lots of things to look forward to in 2025. So we're going to be talking a lot about the Panthers this offseason. We're going to study their moves and we'll be here to discuss the moves that they make, which we expect will be significant to have them competing next year. All right. So, Panthers Nation, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And don't forget, this will help you not to forget Magic Mind. There you go. www.magicmind.com/LBHTJan. That's LBHTJAN for January.
That's going to get you the 45% off of the bundle for the focus shots and the sleep shots. You're going to love it. And, once you place that order, come back, leave a comment, tell us how it's going for you.
All right, y'all. That's it for this video. We will see you in the next one. Peace.